It's on Audible. It's on Audible. Hey, my dear. I am so excited. I got to take this off so I can hear what I'm doing. I am so excited to tell you that Mastering Confidence is now on both Audible and it is on iTunes. So you can now listen to Mastering Confidence. I'm celebrating. I even wore my yellow scarf because it's so exciting and it took a while to get here. But I wanted you to know that you can now go to Audible and download this for free. Let me tell you how in a second. Before I do that, I'm going to share this video into my Confident Women Leaders group. Hey, my dear, I am Leadership Development Coach Kathy Archer, and thank you for joining me today. I know that I have some loyal followers who watch these videos every single week, and that is super exciting. And so some of you are following on the replay, some of you are, some of you are following along in the Confident Women Leaders group, and that's all good. I am just grateful that you're here. So let me just shut the internet off my phone so I'm not stealing internet from this live broadcast. All right, so Mastering Confidence. It has been out there for a year now. It made it to Amazon's bestseller list last year. And I promised you that I would get the Audible version out, and I finally did. So I'm going to share the link after as well. But if you just simply go to audible.ca and type in Mastering Confidence, you can get this for free if it is your first book on Audible. Audible is a subscription service. You can get it through Amazon. Thanks for the love. You can get it on Amazon. If you go look up Mastering Confidence on Amazon, you'll find it there as well, and there's a link to Audible too. The other thing, if you are not interested in Audible, you can get it on iTunes. So you can go to iTunes and find Mastering Confidence there too. So that's out today. Super, super exciting. I can't wait for you to dive in and read it. I thought for a moment I would just read you a couple little comments from what some of the readers have said about Mastering Confidence. One of the things that is really interesting about Mastering Confidence is it has exercises at the end of every single chapter. And so one of the very first things that one of the people that made comments about it said was it's 20 practical exercises. Somebody else says practical, easy, and doable exercises. I think that's important. These are things that you can do easily. And somebody said it's about improving your game as a leader. One of the other people in the book said that she too had given her power away and wanted change, and that Mastering Confidence did that for her. And I love this quote from one of the readers as well. She says, Kathy has done an exemplary job of identifying a process not only that helps people work through the emotional struggles of improving their leadership. Key point. Leadership is an emotional journey. And you've been listening to me talk for a long time now, but about awakening those emotions and having those emotions and using them to guide you. And that's what part of these exercises are doing. Confidence is what you think you can do, not what somebody else thinks. Confidence is an inner game. If you want to become a more confident leader, you gotta do that inner work, which brings us to today. Let me get my notes so that I make sure that I'm following along here what I said I was going to talk to you about today. So the title of today's session was, You Must Do This Hard Piece If You Want Massive Change. Do the hard work, get the change. And so that's what we're talking about today. If you want something different in your leadership and your life, you've got to do the work to get there. So what is that work? What does that look like for you? Before we talk about that, come back to what's the change you want. You've got to identify where it is you want to go. You've got to get clear on, I want something different. We spend a lot of time pushing away from what we don't want. I'm tired of these coworkers. I'm sick of this job. I hate being run down and exhausted. And we push away from what we don't want. What I want you to do is turn and start to connect with what is it that I do want. That's that place that we've been talking about lately, thriving, right? We're tired of surviving. We want to thrive. But let's get clear on what thriving is for you. Maybe that's that you're able to go to bed at night without worrying, this incessant worry, and your mind's full of all the things you forgot to do. And what if this happens and I don't like that? And, you can't go to sleep. Maybe thriving for you is coming home at the end of the day and feeling like you have a little bit of energy left to do some of the personal things you want to do. Perhaps thriving for you is feeling confident in that upcoming meeting. It's feeling competent to do your job and handle that massive to-do list that you have. Perhaps thriving for you is being able to deal with that difficult conversation again and again, and dealing with the challenges that staff bring just every single day. That's leadership, right? Maybe that's what thriving is for you. But the very first thing you need to do is what we've been talking about, is identify that thriving target. So remember, I've given you lots of guide sheets on this. There's one guide sheet that is create that thriving target. Then you've got to go backwards and look at, where am I now? What's going on? Perhaps you're not skilled or not confident in handling conflict resolution. Maybe where you're at right now is so run down and exhausted that you've got to kind of come back to the basics of self-care so that you can re-energize, so that you can handle some of those tough conversations. But you got to come back to, what is it that or where am I now? What is it that I want? And then you've got to do the work to get there, right? If you're in my Blueprint for Change course, you absolutely know this. Where am I now? Where do I want to be? What do I need to do to get there? I go through that again and again. You probably dream about those 3 questions. Where am I now? Where do I want to be? What do I need to do to get there? Over the last few weeks, I've given you several worksheets to go through to look at this whole surviving to thriving continuum and moving along it. If you've been following me for longer than that, you know that before that we were talking about goal setting and where do you want to be, and talking about life doesn't happen by accident, that you have to create it. You have to look at what it is you want to see differently. We've been talking at different points in time about creating your own curriculum for your development and growth. As a leader, half of you probably haven't even had a decent performance review in a long time, if at all. There's certain expectations for the job. You know, you have to have your first aid and you have to have this specific supervisory training, but what else? What kind of leader do you want to be? And that doesn't happen by accident. And so creating that view of what it is you want to be like, how you want to lead, and then doing the work to get there. All of this doesn't happen by sitting back and waiting for it to happen. You have to do that work. And by work, I mean inner work. So where am I now? Where do I want to be? What do I need to do to make it happen? Then you got to take action. That action is doing some of the inner work. So when we look at the book Mastering Confidence, again, there's a ton of exercises in each chapter for you to go through. Have you done that? Have you set aside time to do that? If you've been following along these weekly Facebook Lives, I give you a guide sheet every day. Have you taken the time to set aside 5 or 10 minutes in your day and work through that guide sheet? Maybe you're in another course. Maybe you bought a book to read. Maybe you have signed up for something else. Have you done the work, right? I was thinking about this before I came on live today, about this sort of analogy. If you want to harvest the vegetables at the end of the year or at the end of the season, you got to plant the seeds. If you want to see that beautiful flower bed full of, glorious colors, you got to plant the seeds. You got to do the work in the beginning to set the stage for that. And if you don't do that work, nothing will change. Honestly, think about that. If you don't do something different, if you don't take the time to set aside some time to do some of this inner reflection, you won't start to see the changes happen. The clients that I have that talk about having the most change in their lives, the massive breakthroughs, the feelings of tremendous energy shifts, the difference in relationship with their staff or their family members, all have set aside time to do some of the inner work. And it's not always easy. Not going to lie to you. Sitting down, looking at things often brings back a flood of emotions. Sometimes it's anger or sadness or frustration. Sometimes it's that, longing for, man, I wish somebody else knew what I was going through. And this, looking at this just makes me feel more alone. Or maybe you're frustrated that you can't seem to figure it out. When we set aside time, sometimes that comes up for us. And we have to stay with those crazy feelings for a little bit and continue to ponder and reflect. I mean, I've talked about the inner guidance cycle, right? Pause, ponder, pivot, proceed. Stop, pause, do some reflection, right? Do that pondering, do some thinking, do some considering. Take out some worksheets. Look at goals that maybe you want to develop. Look at what your values are. Look at the personality traits you're trying to cultivate in yourself. Who is it that you're becoming? Create that vision of how I want to interact with my staff, how I want to lead a staff meeting, how I want to show up with my family at the end of the day. Create a vision and have that powerful vision pull you forward. But you got to sit down and do some writing to get there. That's the hard work. And again, the clients that have the most success are the ones that get up earlier in the morning and start to do a little bit of journaling. Set aside some time when they get to the office where they can journal about things that they want to journal about. Put the journal beside the bed at night so that they do the gratitude piece at the end of the day. The clients who are most successful are the ones who do this inner work, who create the opportunity for them to sit down and stick to it diligently, to reflect on some things, to do some worksheets or some exercises, to listen to some audios, to read some books, to start to connect with other people about how have you done it, right? And so that's the piece that you need to do. If you want to see some of those changes, and remember, you have to identify what the changes you want. For all of us, it's different. For some of us, it's feeling more energized. Some of it's feeling more confident or competent. Some of it's feeling more engaged in your work. Maybe you just want to start to love your job again because you've gotten to the point where you dread work. So you have to figure out what that is for you. What's the change you want? What does thriving look like? Then you got to get the steps down to do that. One of the things that many people struggle with is doing this. And what they found is accountability helps, right? So that's where the coaching often comes in. Think about it. If you are working on a project at work and you have a deadline, are you not more inclined to do it? Or if somebody's going to check back in with you, is there not a better chance that you're going to sit down and get that project done? I have one client who hired herself a fitness coach, and it was simply texting. I think she didn't actually connect with this fitness coach. But the fact that she had to report to her fitness coach every day what she was doing was that accountability piece that gave her the motivation to do it. For me right now, I have a naturopath, and I have to send her my food log every week. Let me tell you, I'm a little bit more motivated to watch what I eat because I know that I have to record it, and I know somebody else is going to look at it. Accountability is a big piece in success. That's why we have Weight Watchers groups. That's why we look at Fitbit, and there's this whole online community connected to Fitbit. That's why when you're in a course and you have to hand your assignments into the instructor, you're more motivated to get it done. Accountability is a big piece. So if you want to see that change that you desire, if you want to make that difference, find somebody to be accountable to, right? Find a place where you can report in on what it is you're doing. That might be a friend or your aunt, or it might be your boss or your coworker. That might work for you. You can develop we were talking about a curriculum earlier. Maybe you've sat down with your organization and you've looked at your goals and stuff, and you know that you want to work on this course or develop this skill or increase your relationships with your staff or something. And so you know that you got to do this and this and this to get there. That might be the accountability piece for you. But find a place to be accountable. There's a little bit of self-accountability. So when you sit down and write down your goals on a piece of paper, writing goals down has actually been shown to skyrocket the success rate of goals just simply by writing them down. If you think about them, they're gone. So write them down. When you review them on a regular basis, once you've written it down, look at it every single week. Where am I at, right? And so that also increases the fact that you are the ability for you to be more successful. And then adding somebody in. So for many of my clients, they've added coaching in. That's that extra layer for them to feel like I'm accountable to somebody. If I say that I'm going to go watch that video that Kathy shared with me on power posing so that I feel more confident, I know she's going to ask me that next week when I talk to her again, did you watch the video, right? If I say to a client, write down, some things where you noticed over the course of the week where your values were stepped on, where you felt like somebody wasn't honoring them or you felt like you pushed them aside. Make note of that for a week. Chances are they're probably going to do it, right? Because there's an accountability piece. So what I was thinking about when I was thinking about mastering confidence, this, this whole Audible book, there's a whole course inside Mastering Confidence that you can get for free. There's a whole series of videos and exercises. You can actually go, there's a link, silverrivercoaching.com/MC links. You can get access to the free course, a download. You can get all the exercises in a PDF, all for free. You can go there and do that right now without buying the book. And here's the thing. I have people sign up for the course that's free. They've gotten the book, they've signed up for the course that's free, and they never make it through the first lesson. I have people who, tell me, oh, I'm going to work through your book. And then a month or 2 or 3 later, they're like, I just haven't found time to read it yet, Kathy. So that's part of where the Audible version came in. I wanted to make sure that people could listen to it. I know most of you are commuting. Even if it's a 10-minute commute, you can get through a lot in 10 minutes at a time. And the truth is, when you're thinking about mastering confidence, you probably want to have a little bit of time to process it and do some of the exercises as well. But what else could I do for you? How else could I help you get through the book and do the things that you need to do to get to that change? Many of the changes that we want are really about confidence. They're really about being more confident in conflict situations, being more confident to set boundaries so that I'm taking better care of my health, being more confident to stand up in front of the room and speak. Whatever you're looking for often boils down to confidence. And in leadership, it's one of the things that many women are telling me constantly. I don't feel confident. I don't feel capable. I don't feel credible. I'm not sure I can handle what I'm getting myself into. And so when you step back and do this work, you're going to find yourself moving more towards that place where you want to be and moving more towards thriving. So what I did was I created a 6-week intensive. And so if you want some accountability to do the work, then join the intensive. So it's at silverrivercoaching.com/MC intensive. So what it is 6 weeks. You, me, and a whole bunch of other ladies are going to go through the book together. In 6 weeks, you're going to be able to work through the exercises. I am going to hold your hand every step of the way, make sure that you get it done, and you're going to do it with other women. So we're going to create a community that's a learning community. We are not just going to read the book. We are going to study the book intensely. We are going to apply the techniques that you're learning for yourself. We are going to support each other. We're going to create accountability links for each other. We are going to lean on each other for the 6 weeks so that we can intensively dive in deep and build your confidence, because that's what many of us are missing, right? It's that accountability piece. We're missing the part that says, yes, I want to do it, but I'm tired today. Yes, I want to do it, but I'm busy. When you create that accountability, you are much more inclined to do the work. And if you do that hard work, 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, 5 minutes here. If you do that work, the reflection, the inner work, the pausing, the pondering, you're going to start to do some of those shifts. You're going to do some of those pivots. You're going to change your perspective. You're going to grow a level of confidence that you haven't seen before. And you're going to be able to do the things that are going to get you to that other end of that surviving to thriving continuum. You're going to start taking action. That's the key here, my dear. You have to take action to change your life. And for many of you, that starts with the action of pausing and pondering and reflecting. And so if you want some help with that, join the Mastering Confidence Intensive, and you'll get that. It's 6 weeks. You can up a level and you can get coaching to go with that as well. So if you go there and you scroll all the way down, there's a couple options. One of the options is to get 3 coaching sessions with me too. If you want that increased individual kind of attention where you get to work through this yourself, try that option. And if you just want to get the book and work through it and you think that you're great at doing stuff, many of us are. Many of us are like focused. We know what we want. We do that work. Go for it. Literally, you can get Mastering Confidence for free. If you go to audible.com, type in Mastering Confidence. If you've never gotten a book before, you can get the first book at Audible for free, so you can have that for free. You can listen to it on iTunes. Right now, I've got the Kindle version. It's on for $2.99, so you can pop over and get the Kindle version. Again, you don't even need to get the book. Go to silverrivercoaching.com/MC links, and you can get all the exercises. You can get access to a little PDF that prints off the inner guidance cycle that I keep talking about. So it's there for you. Bottom line, my dear, is you got to stop, do some reflection about where it is you want to go. What's that target? We're teleological. We need a target. We need a goal. Where are you aiming? Get clear on that. Write it down. Visualize it. Go there often. That's why we create vision boards, but you got to go there often. Then come back and look at what are the steps I need to do to get there? What are the hurdles I have to cross? What are the bumps in the road? And create a plan to work through those and then do the work. I am so grateful that you joined me today. If this has been helpful, please share. Please share with other women that you know in a private message that you're thinking, yeah, you know what? I know you're kind of struggling and you need some help right now. Try this. Share. Share it on your Facebook page. Share on Twitter. Share it at a staff meeting if you think that's helpful for you. But absolutely share this so that other women get the support they need. We should not be doing leadership alone. I talk to women again and again and again, and where they're struggling is I feel isolated. I feel like the only one going through this. Nobody else cares. Nobody else gets it. We do. We've all been there. We are there, many of us right now. Join the Confident Women Leaders private Facebook group if you want more support. I'll put the link in as well for that so you can join that. But don't do this alone, and don't make other women do this alone either. Where we struggle as women is we lack mentors, we lack supports. I was talking to somebody the other day. If you look at the textbooks that are used in leadership and management and supervisory training, the majority of them are written by men. If you look at the people that are out there training and teaching about leadership, primarily it's men. We need to create women mentors for each other. So be that woman who's supporting the people that report to you or the women around you, your daughter, your niece, whoever it is. Share information about how to lead in a different way. Lead in a way that we as women are comfortable and confident in doing, and share so that we start to create more mentors in the world for women. We need more women leaders, and we need us to be strong and capable and confident. And so please share this message, share Mastering Confidence, go get the book, sign up for the course that's coming up, the Mastering Confidence Intensive, and I will see you next week, my dear. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.